Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Business Culture Matters, and I am joined today. My name is Carlos Ponce, and I'm joined today by my fellow teammate, co-host, colleague, and friend, Luis Gonzalez. Hi, Luis. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Carlos. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you, Luis. And of course, we're going to be also joined by none other than Arturo Barraza. He is the Operations Director of Access Quality. Arturo, it's a great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much, Carlos and Luis, for inviting me to this great show. I have been following your show, and it's terrific the opportunity that you're giving me now to share my experiences and talk with you and your audience. Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure, Arturo. We really look forward to this conversation. Absolutely. Great. So before we jump into the topic of the day, which is the art of doing business in Mexico, the fundamental pillars of Mexican business culture, as we have displayed down below. So before we jump into that topic, which is the topic of the day, tell us a little bit about you, Arturo. Tell the audience, who is Arturo Barraza? Tell us about your background, your experience, anything you want to share with the audience.
Myself, it's always difficult to talk about yourself because you want to be bragging about the experiences and things where you have been. I can tell you that I'm a professional, telecoms professional. I enjoy a lot everything that I do. I am a very passionate engineer, and that's exactly what defines me. Wherever I go and whatever I do it with passion. So I have been working for international companies, global companies like Ericsson, AT&T, Nextel International, and some other small companies when I started. And right now I'm in a great company that it's called Access Quality, which is actually a company that it's a pyme. You know what they call it, pymes in Mexico, small and medium enterprises. And I can tell you that from the time that we met until today, there has been lots of changes in my life, and I'm enjoying every single detail of these changes. Over the years that I have become a telecom expert, I have worked on labs, I have worked on production, I have worked on innovation, and all of these things have given me a global knowledge of the environment of the telecom industry, and which I'm very proud of it. Yes, I am very proud of the experience that I have gained, because at some point someone is talking about any topic and you can relate it to something on your experience. And you know what they say, sabe más el diablo por viejo que por diablo, and that's what had happened to me. I have 31 years of being working on the enterprises. It's not that I'm that old. I started when I was 12. Just kidding. That's what I can tell you. I'm very passionate with what I do, and I love also this kind of formats when you can exchange your mindset and also your thoughts about what you're doing. Thank you very much again for inviting me, and let's get on with it, because when you talk only about yourself, it's sorry.
Don't worry about it. No, actually, it's great. Learning a little bit about you, that's kind of enlightening. But yeah, you're right. Let's just jump into the topic. I'd like to start by mentioning or acknowledging the fact that you have built a remarkable career spanning more than 3 decades in technology across Latin America. So my question is, how has leading multicultural teams across countries like Peru, Mexico, Chile, US, many other countries, how has it shaped your approach to innovation and problem solving?
Also Argentina and Brazil.
Argentina.
Yes, Argentina and Brazil, that they were part of Nextel International. That's exactly, well, obviously on Ericsson, you also work with people from Sweden mostly, and people from Denmark. That's other things that I have worked with people from there. The first thing that is first of all, the barrier language. When they see that you speak well English, that you can put your thoughts on the same level that they are, that's when they start to notice you. I'm
Mhm.
telling you from the very beginning when I started. So that's the first thing that you have to think. If you don't speak their language, the you 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 simply pass below the bar. You're not there. And but once you start speaking their language, the second thing that is most important is being consistent. And what is that? Uh, if you say that you're going to do something, you do it.
Mhm.
You deliver, you build trust. And these two things, the cultural barrier about the language barrier, and then you have to develop trust. So those are
Mm,
the key ingredients on multicultural environments: being consistent,
mhm,
speak the same language. I can tell
mhm.
you a small story that was fantastic with Nextel
Please, please.
International. There's
Please.
there's very lots of stories, lots of stories there. But I was once there in Reston, Virginia. We were going to have lunch with the team, and at that particular day, all of the people from India uh, invited me to lunch and say, "Hey, let's invite a Mexican to have lunch." Okay, I say, "Whoop, fantastic!" And it was me, it was Avinay, Safer, Srini, uh, you name it. All of my friends. And maybe I'm forgetting a couple of two more that were there. And we were there, and we start chatting, and something that I suddenly I say, "Hey, stop, guys! Thank you very much for inviting me here today. But when I am with my fellow colleagues from Mexico, you speak Spanish, and you're not speaking in your own language. You're speaking
Mhm.
English. Me, I really appreciate that." And they all look at me and start laughing and say, "Hey, Arturo, if we talked on our mother tongues, each of us, we wouldn't understand us." And that was something I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of part of multicultural things, that people from India, from different regions, they speak different languages.
Right.
Right,
So
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
have to get along with them. You have to get along with them. And then I said, "Oh, that was a big mistake for me." But and then I started to
Learning.
learn more about Indian culture, and what do the meanings of their names. Most of them, they were like names from kings and that, and so you have to be interested on their culture also.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
gives you points, and that. So that was a very very that was something that I wanted to share with you, because maybe I don't know, maybe someone who's starting with this, it will happen to them.
I'd
Absolutely,
love to.
absolutely.
I'd love to ask you. I'd love to ask a question. Am I hearing an echo? Are we good? Yeah. A
No.
question on that, because I work a lot with Indians. I've lived in India and been visiting
Mhm.
India for many, so I'm familiar with what you were just saying. I'm wondering, as a cultural person who studies this and teaches this and trains, we know that Indian culture, generally speaking, now we admit, we also know that there are subcultures in India, as
Yes.
you've already mentioned, just like there are subcultures in Mexico. We know that each regional differences, let's say. But if we look at the national culture, kind of step out, and we look at the national culture of India, general, and we look at the general national culture of Mexico, there are a lot of similarities. They both have respect for
Mhm.
hierarchy. They both are group oriented. Family is also very important. I'm wondering, what was your experience in terms of, what I'd love to hear from you is, even though the cultures are very similar in those ways, what were the differences that you noticed in working with Indian teams that were different from Mexican culture? Can you tell us some of your learnings in that regard?
Yes. Well, the first cultural thing that happened when they were here visiting Mexico. Some of them they don't eat beef,
They don't
so
eat
that's
beef, meat.
and
Yeah.
they don't eat meat. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and when you see that, and I mean, in Mexico, this is really it wasn't usual 20 years ago.
No.
Now you have vegans, now you have vegetarians, now you have
Mm-hmm.
more diversity of things in Mexico. But 20 years ago, how could you not do not eat meat? So it was so you learn to take them to delicious things that you have in Mexico that they don't have, where meat is not involved. So you go and take them to some sopes without meat and tacos from papa, and then you realize that if you would want to have that style of life, you could really do it. You could really do it. So it makes you think, wow, I love nopales. So to start, I love nopales. So nopales with avocado on a taco, that would be fantastic. Other cultural things that that I saw more similarities than things that were not on the same page. Uh, once I invited someone to my place to have meals with my parents, and they brought a gift to my mother. So that's something that you do. You as Mexican, you never arrive to somewhere. If they invite you somewhere, you always bring something. You always bring
Right.
something. So
Right.
those things were very nice, very very nice.
And similar
And
to our culture.
yes, similar. But on the other hand, like let me tell you now, experience with Canadians. Canadians,
Okay.
and I love this part of NII, because once I was in a meeting where there was one people from Pakistan, another from Canada, another from the US, another from India, another from what was the other country? Israel. So it was really multicultural. It was like telling a joke in Spanish. Hey, there was from someone from China also. There was a Chinese man, and a German man, and so it was like. But let me tell you this story about the Canadians. I arrived to the office, and my boss was Canadian. So I arrived there from the plane. I immediately go to his office and say, "Hey, how you doing, Matt? I'm here. Uh, I just came to say hi because I just arrived." And oh, perfect, Arturo, good. And I shook hands with him and welcome and whatever. Good. Next day in the morning, 9 a.m., I am there, and the first thing I do, I go and say hi to my boss. Hello, Matt. How you doing? Very well. Yeah, thank you. I'm here. Let's see these and these things. Okay. I shook hands with him, and perfect. The third day that I go there, I arrive 9 o'clock. Get into his. Hello, Matt. How are you? Very well. Yeah, I've been here. It was great meeting. And he says, "Hey, Arturo, what are you doing? Stop 1 minute." Say, what's happening? Stop 1 minute. Do we have to do this every day? I know you're in town. I know you're here. I see you on the meetings. Why do you have to come and say hello to me every day? You say, wow. Well, it's not only about saying hello to you. It's even if we go outside and I see you on the street coming back from meals, and I'm coming from other side, I will say, "Hi, how you doing?" This is how we Mexicans are. We
Yeah.
love contact with the people.
Mhm.
I wasn't aware. I said, okay. So those are differences on the cultures that you can
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
different groups.
Very
Absolutely.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and which that kind of those nuances between one culture and another in the social aspect of the equation. So, like when you're socializing, when you're getting to know your teams, I can easily, how can I say this? How I can easily sense that it has an impact, right, on the relationships. But when it comes to the actual work, and I'm
Mhm.
talking about like the implementation of technologies or development or whatever, you know much more about this than we do because you are the expert.
Mhm.
So I'd like to touch on that aspect of the work itself. For example, I know that you have implemented agile methodologies across diverse cultural contexts. So how would you say, how do different cultural attitudes towards hierarchy, time, and risk taking affect the adoption of agile practices in Latin America versus other cultures like North America, Europe, South America?
Uh-huh. Well, let me tell you that hierarchy is very strong in Latin America. So whenever the boss arrives, they speak and everybody shuts. And
Yes.
precisely that was something that they liked about several people, that they were not following completely the hierarchy, just like
Mhm.
me. I was talking with the engineers and I was talking with the CTO or the CEO without restrictions, and they love that. They love that. They love that in a person. If you can get along with everyone, talked about what you do and your concerns about what they're saying, that's what people from the US on other latitudes, that's what they love, because hierarchy is very high. So they say, well, when we arrive there, nobody wants to tell us anything. So you
Mm.
have to step up and say things. So
Yes.
this is the way. And now let me talk as a Latin or Latin America. Oh, that one's a great challenge. That one's a great challenge because you have to convince the people that what you're doing has a meaning, and it will impact the way they're working. It will impact in
Mhm.
a positive way, because first when you're doing agile methodologies, you don't see you sometimes you say, why do we have to do this? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I am doing it the I am doing it I have been doing this for 5-10 years. Why do we have to change? That mindset, and the ways that you have to say the things, and the conviction that you have to say, and also, and the most important thing, the discipline.
Mm.
Every day, every
Mhm.
day, every day. When they see that you have the discipline to do it every day, that you commit to someone, you commit to do something and you do it. You commit to have the meetings, the daily meetings. You commit to have the planning meetings. You commit to have the retrospective meetings. You commit to all of the ceremonies, and you're there every day, every day, every day, and you deliver the message again and again and again.
Mm.
Sometimes or not sometimes, at a certain point, everybody starts to see that you're not going to give up, that
Mhm.
this is really happening. So you identify the people that want to be with you, and you push them a lot, so they push others, and that thing. So
Mhm.
in Latin America, you have to convince many people that this is going to work. And
Mm.
you will have, obviously, that on whenever the change comes, there are people who goes on board with you. There are people who are reluctant to take it, and there's people who do not like it. But you have to show discipline and deliver. That's the most important thing.
Great. Absolutely. I have one more question, and then I'm going to pass on the mic to Luis because I don't want to take over the
Yes.
conversation. But I think it's important also going back to the work topic, the work
Mhm.
scenario. In your case, for example, I also know that you developed prototypes at AT&T's at the
Mm.
foundry, and you in that occasion back then you worked with multidisciplinary teams, and it might be the case also with with access quality right now.
Yeah.
So my question is, how do you navigate the cultural differences in communication styles between engineers, business stakeholders, international partners who might be, I don't know, the US, the Philippines, India?
Yeah.
How do you navigate the cultural differences so that the outcomes come out as close to perfection as possible?
Yes, that's a great question, because on what you're talking about, when we were building prototypes, at AT&T, it was a great experience, because uh, from that idea, from one of the ideas, we saw the potential, and we say, hey, and it was not me who said this can be, you can make a patent out of this, and say, what? In Mexico, we do a lot of things, and we are very creative, and we build things, and we change things, but we never think about doing it a patent, doing it, or patent it. You never think about that. So there's a guy that tells you, hey, this could be a patent. Okay, let's go and talk with the lawyers from AT&T, and take this and see if you can patent it. And AT&T is a great enterprise. They have a portal where you submit your ideas. They have everything, so they make it easy. But the thing comes when you have to talk to the lawyers, explain your prototype or whatever you're doing, and then explaining to the guys on patents to see if really this is not something that it's resembling something else, and it's new really for the occasion. And the most important thing there, I think, it's flexibility. You have to acknowledge that you are not the expert on those fields, and you have to be receptive to what they tell you, how to organize the things, how to put them the way they need them to be, so they can comply with the purpose of getting a patent, just for example, on that one. So you have to listen to the people, to what they tell you, and acknowledge that you're not the expert, although you are the expert on some things. On these ones, you have to be flexible and accept everything that they tell you, and change it to the way they tell you. I think that's the most important thing on being multicultural. When you're talking about different specialities that are not yours. The other
Hey,
ones were consistency, but here you have to be flexible, and
yeah.
listen very well to what they tell you.
Absolutely. Please.
Yeah, really interesting. I'm interested to know, because I'm always curious about the comparison of cultures that are similar. So I mentioned India and Mexico being very
Yes.
similar. When you created the technology laboratory for Nextel International, you conducted tests for Brazil, Chile, Peru, and Mexico.
Yes.
What surprised you most about the cultural variations in how those individual markets approached mobile technology?
Well, for example, people, something that I could say, from Chile, for example, when we talked to the people from Chile, there were people that were very intelligent, and they were very dedicated and intelligent, and they would tell you, hey, let's do it this way. They propose many things. They like doing stuff, and that. uh, People from Brazil, they were very friendly with you. That's what they were very friendly. Hey, let's do it this way. The rhythm was different. The
Yeah.
rhythm was different. It was very professional, but they were very, very open to you. They would joke. They would think. It was like that. From Peru, they're very similar to Mexico. They want the job done. They get focused on that. Very assertive. So different styles with different people, and sometimes you have them all in the same room, all in the same
Yeah.
room, and
Mhm.
you have to coordinate in between them how to do it. So these cultural things, they make you grow as a person,
Mhm.
and make you learn that on different countries you have to act differently. You have to
Yep.
change to the way that they do it, to the way they want to do the things, to the way they want to communicate. uh, and
Yep.
it is just as it is. If you don't get along with them, and if you don't switch your mind to what they have, then it's going to be chaos. You cannot handle it. The objective is the same, to do the work,
Yeah.
but you have to do different things for different clients, just like in access quality. You have different
Yeah. Of
clients.
course.
You have to comply with them and do the job. There will be someone
Yeah.
who is more demanding than others. There will be someones that are more friendly, but you have to deliver.
Yep. I find it interesting because in my experience, with working with United States Americans and others, not just only in the United States, but through no fault of their own, just in the same way that you gave the example of India and not realizing that India has how many official languages,
Yeah.
that was, no fault of your own. You just did not know that. In the same way, many people outside of Latin America think or have the idea that, well, they're all the same, right? Mexicans, Peruvians,
No,
Chileans, and Brazilians.
no, no.
They all speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even realize sometimes that in Brazil they don't speak Spanish.
Right.
So what have you got to say about that?
There were
As a recommendation to someone outside of Latin America, please go ahead.
obviously there were jokes whenever we were together. There were jokes in between us about how to call anything. Uh,
Yeah.
if you get to the if you have the wrong word in the wrong country, though in your country it is nothing, but it means totally different. Though you
Different.
you speak Spanish, the slang you have to learn the slang.
Mhm.
Yeah, that they uh, for example, when they came to Mexico, and they say, I'm looking, I'm looking. There was a guy who was looking for a belt. We call it
Mhm.
cinturón, but they will
Mhm.
call it a leash. A leash.
Ajá.
It's a different.
Correa, como
Yeah, a
correa, sí.
leash. So they will say, I'm looking for a leash. A leash? Why do you looking for it? Yes, a leash for me. What? How come?
Yeah.
You don't understand that. So that was that, and those were good words, but there are words that have double sense, and
Yes.
you cannot tell them in other contexts. So
Uh-huh.
it's fun, and I could say that you learn a lot from that things. Yes.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mm. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Arturo, we are coming up on time, and they say that time flies when you're having a great time, which is the case, right?
thank
But I wouldn't want to miss this opportunity to ask you something very specific. Can you think of maybe an example or an experience you can share in which not being aware of cultural differences, and I'm talking about cultural misunderstandings between international or global teams across different cultures, have derailed a project.
Yes.
And then you found yourself in a position where you say, oh gosh, how am I going to fix this? Right? Because of those cultural misunderstandings. Have you ever experienced something that you could share with the audience as an example? And maybe how can they be prevented?
Yes, I can tell you that something happened in Nextel when we were there, uh, and it was a cultural thing. At some point, they decided to put the knock in Brazil, the knock for all Latin America. So uh, I don't think that I think that was a mistake. That was a mistake because Brazil was the only country that didn't speak Spanish, and they were serving Mexico, Chile,
Mm,
Peru, and Argentina. So you
mm,
have a knock there where people don't speak Spanish. That was a problem,
Hmm.
cultural problem, very, very, very tough. The second one is Brazil had a lot holidays, holidays. So when the holidays started, the people there were less people in the knock, and they couldn't afford uh,
Hmm.
all of the countries calling. So that was really, really something that they never thought that could impact our operations, and our operations
mm,
were impacted with that. Time to restore the failures, things like that. uh, well, it's that was a multicultural thing that they never thought. So you have to be very, very careful on those aspects to see what is the language that they speak, how
Hmm.
are they going to serve, what are the
mm.
holidays, how are you going to manage the holidays. That was something
Yeah,
that was a tough lesson for the upper management that
I can
back
imagine.
back.
I can certainly imagine, and I hope
Mm.
you came out of it unscratched. I assume,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, well, I was part of
Learned.
the international team, so I was not exactly involved on all of
Oh,
the
okay.
knock stuff, but I was seeing it. I was
Yeah,
seeing it because
Yeah, yeah.
everybody was complaining.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
From all of the countries, not only from where I was.
Right.
All right, from all of them.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, Arturo, we need to wrap up, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But what final words of wisdom would you want to leave the audience with, as it pertains to our topic of the day, which is the art of doing business in Mexico, the fundamental pillars of Mexican business culture? What do global companies, need to be aware of? If you had to put it in one sentence, what would you tell them?
Uh, if it would be on one sentence, well, first of all, I forgot to mention the differences between being working on big companies like AT&T and Access Quality. Uh, the change from being the client to be the provider, and
Hmm.
also being working. As I already have work on the other side, I know what they do expect from you as a provider.
Hmm.
Uh, but if I have to tell you something that multicultural teams have to think about is everything that we talk about: deliver, be consistent,
Hmm.
being flexible. Those
Hmm.
three things. Well, act promptly.
Okay.
And that's something that I have learned on Access Quality. You have to act fast, be the first, do it. For example, we're the only company that has a Kubernetes certification in Mexico. We are the only ones. So
Hmm.
you have to do it fast. You have to be the first one there, and provide and deliver the services. So
Hmm.
that's what I would tell you, Carlos. Is it's a way to handle cultural things. Learn the language also.
Learn the
Hmm.
language,
Good,
indeed.
good
Yes,
one. Yeah, good
and
one.
I am reading between the lines. Not learn is English. Learn the language that they are talking. They're
Right.
That's
talking
great.
about this efficiency, about delivering, about trust. That's what you have to think.
Good.
Excellent.
That's priceless advice for all of those of you who are watching outside of Mexico and are planning on building something here, conducting business.
Yeah,
That's one of the secrets, right? So,
good
all
stuff.
right, Luis, any final words for Arturo before we go?
I just want to thank you, Arturo. This is great. I wish we had a lot more time because I feel like we're just getting into it and getting started. I know you have a lot more experiences and stories to share with us and our audience, but for now, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. What you shared with us is really impactful. mostly for those who are watching, and as Carlos said, those who are thinking of doing business in some way or other here in Mexico in general. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Arturo, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how can they reach out to you?
They can reach me on my LinkedIn. They can find me as Arturo Barraza Lopez. I'm I'm a public person there, obviously, and they can reach me at abarraza@accessco.com.mx. The email is down there. Thank you very much.
Down there,
And
yes.
also, they can find us at accessquality.com.mx. That's our webpage where they can find us, and they will see everything that we do. That we have very big customers. When we can provide very good services for them. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Arturo, thank you so much for having been with us here on Business Culture Matters, because business culture matters. It matters, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having been with us in the show. Stay with us as we go off the air. And for the rest of you, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and see you next time.
See you.